hey, wait a minute, the money here is not doing SEO for myself. The money here is actually helping other people make money.
So is your goal to build this thing up for an eventual exit?
I put a shop on it. I did drop ship. I did everything that there was to do. And my main website, my main affiliate site, I had my picture on there and it was legit. I mean, literally, we buy up like most of the stuff that's on there.
I do think the microsite strategy is something that's viable. We're building 50
Very
more of those to rent out, and we have a rev deal, a 10% rev share deal on that.
private equity is a big player in the agency niche. I actually didn't realize that.
So in this video, we have Blair Witkowski with us, and I'm telling you, you're going to learn things that you've never probably heard of ever before. So Blair is an agency owner. He's an affiliate site owner. He's an expert. I'd consider him an expert on outreach to acquire new clients. There's a lot we talk about quickly. Some of it goes deeper. Some of it, stays top level. But regardless, I think you're going to like this one. Blair, we've known each other for what, like 2 years?
Yeah, maybe even a little more. I mean, from Maverick Mastermind, that was a while ago, when back before Helpful Content Update. So, or right at Helpful Content Update.
Right. We started like this private group,
Mhm.
and the HCU just slammed everyone like right away.
Yeah.
That was not fun. But all right, let's just talk about what you do so people understand like the framework of this conversation. Like, what do you do to make money online?
I primarily do search optimization for home service providers, and oh, my light cut out there. And so I primarily do SEO for home service guys. And last year, I'm niching down and really focusing on garage door installers and gutter companies. So I shout out to Bradley Benner. Bradley Benner has a great directory course out there if anyone's ever interested. And I built two big directories. I have a couple smaller ones, and I use that as a kind of the foot in the door to reach out to clients. And then on top of that, I still have an affiliate site that's kicking. So my affiliate site, I had several. They all died with helpful content, but one came back and actually makes more than just a few dollars, enough to pay for a vacation. So that's always good. And I'm following your course for the microsites and using it as like another tool in the arsenal to get clients. So for my long-term vision and what I really want to do is I want like retail SEO clients. So if you're a garage door guy, gutter installer, home service, that's who I want to work with.
So the microsites, might as well hit on that. So you own an agency, right? And I think some of your family works in the agency, and you're modest. You're a modest person. So I'll tell everyone, you have a good size agency in my book. And the reason I wanted to jump on this call is you have like so many ideas every time I talk to you. It's just the funnest. But the microsites, how are you going to offer that to clients? Is it going to be to acquire new clients or to retain old clients? What is the deal?
The microsites, and I come at this primarily from like hardcore SEO. I started in 2012, 2013 doing SEO for people. I'm self-taught, and I think a lot of us are at that point. And I realized is like, hey, wait a minute, the money here is not doing SEO for myself. The money here is actually helping other people make money. If you can make other people successful, if you can make their phone ring, make people fill out their submission form, and make them do well, then you're going to make a ton of money. And if you just return your emails, return your phone calls, and be accountable, you'll crush it in this industry for sure. And the microsites are a tool. So sometimes people will call them lead gen and all these different things, but I'm big into expired domains. Again, thanks to Bradley Benner. Um, well, I'm in a private SEO group that we meet, and we have a little joke that you have to take a drink every time you mention Bradley Benner's name. So it's got, if anyone's watching this, if you really want to know how to do SEO for like somebody else, like all his semantic mastery stuff is awesome. But I took your idea with microsites and modified it a little bit, where using my directory, which is called Garage Door Galaxy. So if you guys can check that out. I'm scraping Google business listings, nothing new. And I'm particularly looking for people who don't have websites. And I'm also looking for people like for medium to low competition areas, and then deploy a microsite, get it up, get it ranking, and use that as another foot in the door tactic to either rent it, sell it, or use it for an SEO tool for someone in an area. So typically how this really works is if you're looking at a city of anywhere from like 25 to 40,000, 45,000 people, that is like an ideal population size to go in and you can rank very quickly, right? I mean, it's not magic. You still have to put in the work. You need the backlinks. You need the press release. You need all that stuff. It's not like it just magically ranks, but that's a good market where you're going to have some competition, but it's not like you're going to a major metro place like Atlanta or Dallas or something where there's tons of it. A 25, 35, 45,000 population. There's lots of room. So we'll look at the data and we use AI quite a bit, and we'll use Claude to kind of sort through the data, but you still have to do a lot by hand because you got to go look at the guy's Facebook page, go see if they got good reviews, because you're targeting people. So you're trying to make a warm introduction, and we still do cold calling, cold and warm calling. Matt Easton of Easton Sales Training, dude, he is fantastic. If you want to learn how to like cold call and be a better salesperson, because no one likes cold calling, but he always says you need to call people with a connection. And everyone's like, oh, hey, we're connected in LinkedIn, but it's very different when you're like, hey, Jesse, this is Blair, Garage Door Galaxy. You have a free listing on my site. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute about what you're seeing in the garage door industry. I'm hearing that some guys are getting business off of Chat GTP. Have you found that for you? Have you gotten clients calling you? And that starts the conversation. And you're going through it, and then you can offer the microsite. So if someone doesn't have a website, a microsite is a great way to get a local business, an inexpensive website that you can rent from anywhere from $100 to $200. And now you've got a client, and then you can offer them more services. And if you do a good job, and if you follow up and get them results, they'll give you more money.
More
You know.
money. Typically, like, what is your clients pay? What are your clients paying you? 1,000 to 2,000 a month?
Yeah, roughly. I have clients. I have some of my older clients that are still like on the old tiers. The grandfather, the great great grandfather in at the four, five, $600, and then newer clients are in the $3,000 and $4,000 range. Because
Okay.
now today you have to do so much more for retail SEO than you did a couple of years ago. It's for at this point. I mean, you basically have to run LSA ads. You have to run Google ads. You've got to do paid social. You've got to help them with graphic design. You're a counselor, you're a coach, you're a shoulder to cry on sometimes. You're piecing together coaches for them. You're really becoming part of their business. I mean, some of my clients, I joke, I'm the longest running employee they have. They're crazy people to work for, and so I still work for them after years. I think my oldest client's 8 years old at this point.
Jeez.
Not 8 years
All right.
old as a toddler. I've had him for 8 years.
So okay, let's pretend that you had to restart the garage door niche. So you have
Okay.
your other clients, but you started in the garage door niche to build this vertical alone. How many
Yes.
clients do you have in it? How long ago did you start? And then I want to unpack this thing.
Sure. For anyone who knows Josh Nelson with Seven Figure Agency, like a lot of agency owners, like sometimes it feels like it's a dumpster fire. Like, yes, you have all these clients, and yes, money's coming in, but it's going out very quickly. It's super stressful. Clients come, clients go. You think you're doing a great job, and they're mad at you, and so I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. And Josh, Seven Figure Agency just has a system, and I don't like to be told what to do, but if you plug into his system, he's got a lot of checks and balances, kind of level stuff out. And one of his principles is you have to niche down. You can't be a generalist agency. You can't be everything to everybody. And how true is that? If you have a restaurant and a plastic surgeon and an attorney and a daycare and a karate studio and a plumber, an electrician, a dog walker, a food truck, an ice cream truck, how are you doing SEO for all these people at different levels? And those are all clients I either have or have had. And you're learning different things. You think you're going to do all personal injury attorney, and then you've got some random day spa coming in, and you're learning all about, you know, Reiki and modalities and all that kind of stuff. I mean, how are you going to do a good job for all those people? So you niche down, and hence that's why I chose garage doors. But like anything, we've known each other for a while. I can't just do one thing, so I'm doing it twice. I'm doing gutters. Gutter Pro HQ is my directory for the gutters installation, and then I have the garages. And because the directory angle works so well, I started one for pools, and I'm separating my teams. So different parts of our team work just in that niche. So we're specialists for people.
Well, it must be working well if you are creating multiple verticals, but the garage door is the longest standing niche that you've gone after, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's my baby. I've got a podcast called Lifted, the Garage Door Podcast, which I recently launched. Where I'm really, because what I found is, if you deliver value, I start talking to all these garage door companies, guys and girls, and they all have the same challenges that we do. Similar in the SEO world, hiring people, systems, process, software, but it all comes down to getting business. You can't do anything without business coming in the door.
If you were to do it again and you needed to
Mhm.
start your agency from scratch, let's say that you were going to start a roof in vertical, right?
I would not
Excuse me,
start in roofing.
a roof in vertical.
If
Like
I
you're
had to
going to go
start
after,
over,
if you had to
go ahead.
start over and you're going after roofers, I know it's a competitive niche, but you would do everything that you know. You would build a directory, you would start a podcast. Would you do cold outreach? Would you do Facebook ads? What other stuff would you do to get
Yes,
clients?
you do all of it, right? And so for me to start another company in the garage door niche, I'm very fortunate to have an agency running where there's cash flow to pay for Google ads, pay for Facebook ads and things like that. If I had to start at zero and had a very limited budget, I'd be flipping on that camera and doing video after video and dialing for dollars. I would, and we're doing it, so I would do a directory in some form or fashion. And a lot of guys teach the directory model. It's not like it's something new under the sun.
Right.
There's a lot of different ideas out there, but because we do a lot of cold outreach and warm outreach, and for anyone watching who has SEO clients, go look at your clients' forums every day. They're bombarded with people selling SEO and spam. And if you're doing any call tracking, I mean, I had a garage door guy today. We're just texting. He literally gets 12 solicitation calls a day from like Google business isn't verified. I want to sell you SEO. So you have to stand out. And so how do you stand out? You have to be better, bring value, and do something different. And the directory, even though we're talking about it, people could go do it. Most people don't act on the knowledge you're giving them. Like 2% of people actually will do anything we're talking about here today. But the directory, when done well, and you're sorting the data and you're targeting, you're not shotgun call every single person in the world. You're looking for the companies, or we'll go back to roofers, right? I would look for small roofers. I'm not looking for the guys with 5 trucks, 10 trucks. I'm looking for roofers that are 1 or 2 trucks. Maybe they sub out the work. They're the guy that maybe still works from home and they're trying to get to their first office, because you could be the catalyst that changes someone's life. With your knowledge in SEO, you literally make this guy's phone ring, pay for his kid's college, pay for his kid's wedding, put food on the table for people. And that's awesome. I mean, and that's what this business is about. It's not about really making the money. Is you're taking money, but you just made a promise to someone. You just promised, like, yeah, no, I'm going to work really hard for you and make that phone ring. And we know, Jesse, like, it doesn't always work. You could do everything in the world, and sometimes that phone doesn't ring for people. And those are terrible conversations to have.
But, if you have expectations set at the beginning, it
Yeah.
it it's fine. So when you build your directory, and this is just one of your ways of acquiring clients, but when you build a directory, tell me if I got this straight. It's on roofers or, gutters or garage doors, only that, right? So you
Correct.
have a beautiful directory, and you mentioned them earlier in the video, so people can go look at yours. And then you'll cold email everyone on your list, and you'll say, "Hey, Bob." What do you say to Bob who owns a garage door company?
Now you're getting into cold email, so you're getting into all the different platforms like Instantly or Salesforge. There's Smart Lead. There's a whole bunch of them out there. So you're buying domains, you're buying mailboxes. You're setting up. For anyone who's never done cold emailing before, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I didn't have enough mailboxes, so you scrape 10,000 emails, and you're just going to start cold calling them or cold emailing. You need a bunch of boxes for that, right? There's a volume. You can only send so many per day. So there was a steep learning curve there. And even though Bradley has this awesome training, I kind of skipped around because I don't have the patience sometimes, and I should have watched everything
Mm.
video by video. Could have saved myself aggravation. But it's a warm kind of introduction. It's like, hey, Jesse, you've got a free listing. Can you just verify your info on here? And you send multiple emails till they answer you. And if they verify it, then you move them over to your funnel. Then you got a real person. Someone read the email, they opened it, and what we're doing is, and again, nothing new under the sun. Doing a Loom video like this, I flip my camera on. I'm like, hey man, thanks a lot for being part of the directory. I noticed, we have an email sequence where we're asking where they would like business from, the towns that they service, so that when they say 9 towns around them, you use a local dominator from Eldar's program's awesome. You run a map scan, you send it back to him with a quick video. It's like, hey, you said you wanted, you're trying to get business around these 9 cities. Did you know you actually don't show up? Here's how to fix it. Hey, you watch this video. If send it to your SEO guy. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to reach out. No selling, no pushing anything, and bringing value. and after doing this for a year and a half now, people who I've sent videos and emails to like a year ago will call you out of the blue. Literally like, hey, I've been watching your podcast. Hey, I've been watching your videos, or I get your newsletter. I do twice a month newsletters for garage and gutters. And again, those are not selling. They're all like, this is what you should be doing. I used to do a lot more cold, just pitching SEO, and that just gets deleted and everything. You really got to do something different. So those things,
Do
but you start that conversation.
do you think the podcast offer via cold email is easier and better, or is it the directory offer?
I just started, the podcast. I've had like 10 interviews. I only have like 3 or 4 episodes up. Um, what's interesting with the podcast is I could not believe how many people saw it between Podbean and where it goes. Like I was really, really surprised. So just the podcast, talking to people, did get me almost six phone calls from, with new people, and it got 2 people paid in the door because they saw it, right? They're like, hey, I've been getting your emails, for a year, and then I saw your podcast, and it just made sense. And I'm not pushing any type of SEO in the podcast. I actually want to know about the person I'm interviewing. Like I'm really into it. Like everyone has such an amazing story. These guys to, put a sign up and go out there and start doing this or any business, it's crazy, so it's cool. But the crux of the influx of customers for me has been niching down with cold and warm email, getting them in the funnel and verifying their account, and then cold calling. We joke about the hour of power. My son, who works with me for a number of years, he cold calls in at least an hour every day. He deals with the people hanging up and telling you off and saying all the things in the world. But if you could just get that one little question in that sparks their interest, they do stay on the phone for a little bit.
Yes. So we've discussed cold email, potentially warm email. We've done directories, cold calling. You mentioned a news list, a mailing list, right? Newsletter. There you
Yep.
go. And I like talking to you because every time I ask you, like, well, what else do you do? I know there's more.
But
So
it's a little
aside from
more than
that,
that. I mean,
right? What
we
else
we
do
we
you
we were
do?
talking we were talking the other day about there's a bunch of software out there where it will tell you your website visitor. And actually, before I
Mhm.
forget, the most obvious thing of all this is, let's not forget, you just actually need to rank for the word garage door SEO, XYZ city SEO company. Like let's not forget that when you have, our own website, we're doing all this for other people. All those rules apply to you. You should 1,000% rank for all your SEO services in your hometown and all the neighboring towns, because that still is business, and that also helps when you're talking to people across the country. You're like, okay, who's this dude that just called me? How do I know if you're legit? Like I get 300 calls. And so you have to have proof. You as the SEO person or the business owner offering these services to people, I think you need some type of proof out there. However you want to do it, your own YouTube channel, videos, these guys and people just want to know that you're legitimate and you're real. So I just say to people when I'm talking to them, hey, yeah, just Google Blair Witkowski SEO. And I've worked hard to have all my pages come up, my own website, my company website, Medium, LinkedIn, YouTube, guest posts, press releases, all that stuff. So then they know, they can see your picture. Like, so I always put my picture on everything. Put your picture on every website you build. Like you're the guy, put that all out there, put your team on there. Because no one does that. You ever go to someone's website and you can't even tell if they're a legit website, but you put your legit stuff on there, it is. And then getting your website visitors, people are all being data mined. And so there's software where it's GDPR compliant. They've come to your website and you can immediately get their phone number, their email, their address, what page they visited. That has been really great. You literally see who's on there, and you either call or send an email. That results in stuff, you know
I've used
you're
that
and
for
it's
more.
relentless follow. That's the biggest thing is you're not getting people on the first and second call. Typically it's a process, right? So you've got to hit them several times before you get a yes, typically.
So let's say like, Bob Smith goes to your website. The information is scraped basically from the thing you just talked about. And then Bob came on the website. You have his email, you have his phone number. How many times is it expected to reach out to this guy before closing or even having a shot at the deal?
Until he tells me never to call him again. I mean, he goes into a 12-step funnel. Like it's LinkedIn messaging, Facebook messaging, postcards. I think I showed you, I haven't done a batch in a while, but last year I was printing off geogrids in a color, in color, in a clear panel envelope and sending that to people. And that was pretty crazy. That's a lot of work though too, because you got to do the QR code, all that stuff. But that gets people calling. There's postcards that you can send when people automatically come to your website. The postcard company will send you a postcard automatically, which is really cool.
What I like is like when I hear these ideas, I just can't help but to smile for two reasons. Like it's cool that we can do this, but the cooler thing to me is that you can offer like everything you've talked about here to your clients. Like it's all
Right,
services. Like you
right.
figure it out of necessity, but then you can turn around and like productize it. It's wild.
Yeah, we actually have a gutter company in Minneapolis where we just deployed the software I'm using is John Limbacher's Acquisition Air. So his is great. I mean, it's very reasonable. There's plenty of them out there, but we just deployed it. And so, because what we were finding is you were getting tons of traffic, right? You're spending money on ads, you're getting people to the website. Your his conversion ratio from total visitors to filling out a form of calling was like 36%. Like that's insane. Like, wouldn't we all love that? But he is insatiable and he needs more leads. Got a giant gutter company going into the winter. And so we start deploying Acquisition Air. And so he's got a business guy, development guy who's calling, hey, Miss Brown, I saw you were just looking at my gutter cover page in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Can I help you? And what they find is when people are looking for a commodity. Now, if we're the contractor, what we do is not a commodity. The homeowner doesn't understand. There's a very big difference between a good garage door guy, a bad garage door guy, good roofer, right? We all know that. They don't know that. So when you just make the little bit extra effort, the little bit, it really makes a difference. And so they're looking for gutter guards. So of course they want the phone call. You got to
Think
call
people
them a
get
couple times.
freaked out?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
How did you know I was on my website? But like when you say, oh, we just use tracking software, your data was already on the market. We bought it through the Nielsen company or whoever it's going to be.
Yeah. And I have experience with this. Some are freaked out, some are not freaked out. I mean, but that's marketing for you. So let's shift gears. I think it's very interesting because I've seen the progression of one of your niche websites, right? And
Yes.
the one niche website did awesome, got, you know, unalived by Google HCU, and now here we are. And you were modest in the beginning of this video. It's like, no, it's doing really well now. So do you feel comfortable sharing some of the tactics that you think revitalized it?
Yeah, I would. I love. I mean, of anything I like talking about, I love talking about the affiliate marketing stuff. I mean, those Maverick Mastermind days were awesome. I look forward to our calls every week. I miss all the people we had in the group, and that whole period was crazy. But I had given up. I did everything we all thought we needed to do to recover from HCU. I started a second site. I put a shop on it. I did drop ship. I did everything that there was to do. And my main website, my main affiliate site, I had my picture on there and it was legit. I mean, literally, we buy like most of the stuff that's on there. We used to get a lot of stuff sent to us. And what I did is I stopped that. So we don't take any free items or paid stuff anymore. Like we buy everything so we can be brutally honest with this stuff. Like I just got an email from Nightcore Flashlights, and I don't even mind saying this. So Nightcore is a huge flashlight company. They want to send me a flashlight and asked if I would do a gentle review. I mean, like, and I guess to Google's point, that's the problem with affiliate marketing. Like we didn't even respond to that email. That's so crazy. But my it's Tech Writer EDC. So I love watches and pocket knives and everyday carry stuff. So I had an Instagram account turned into the website. And before helpful content, I mean, it was cranking. I mean, there was some months where I was making almost, $7,500 between AvantLink and Awin and Google and AdSense and Amazon affiliate. And then one day, boom, just gone. And I was like, wow. And at one point I thought, I'm tired of dealing with clients. I just want to do affiliate marketing. And I almost gave up on clients and just did affiliate marketing, which I'm glad I did not. And I didn't have a YouTube channel for that or anything. And I did everything, started another site, started multiple sites, whatever we were talking about, whoever said anything on YouTube, I went to mastermind groups, I spent money, and I literally gave up. That was it. There was nothing after, I don't know how many months it was, 18, 19 months, 20 months. And then one day, the craziest thing is I got the Amazon affiliate email that they deposited money into your account, right? So anyone that does affiliate marketing knows what that email is. It comes out like on the 20th of every month. And I had like $147 deposit. And I was like, what is this? I mean, I was making nothing on that website. And I had not logged into it for the longest time. And I went in there and I had a ton of traffic and it was growing and growing and growing. And so that was this is in the early spring. And now I'm back to almost 75,000 visitors a month. And for monetization, I really am only focused on a couple um, affiliate link companies like Avant Link, so like Blade HQ and stuff like that, and Amazon. I'm not messing with AdSense. I'm not messing with anything else. I don't expect this to stay forever. I don't know. I wish it does. But the real money for anyone who's watching this is not just your commissions, Amazon's bonus for sales. So, for I'm sure a lot of people watching this, your video at this point might not even know what we're even talking about with affiliate marketing. Someone comes to your website and they bought something from Amazon on your link, you make a commission. But anything they buy for the next, like, what is it, 6 hours or 3 hours is credited to you because you brought them to Amazon. So Amazon has bonuses for total sales, not just the ones that you generate, the total sale of the cart. So, and they give a healthy bonus on their creator rewards. And so that is still a viable option on there for some people. If you can, I don't know if you actually could really start another affiliate site from the ground up and do it. I think that train may be left. I don't know, but I'm thankful for my one site chugging along for a little bit longer. I just had
Wow.
someone
Oh,
one of my daughters get married, and so the money was helpful.
heck yeah, man. So we can't accredit any of the tactics to revitalizing it. We don't know.
No, no, I don't know. And I mean, I was all over personally over the site. My kids and I, pictures of us testing BB guns on camping trips with like machetes, testing fire starters. And Matt Diggity had a GPT a couple months ago where it tested your EEAT, right? So I thought I was killing it with EEAT, but like his GPT said I was horrible. And I was super offended. So if Matt is watching this, like, how dare you? But I'm like, wow, is this really what Google saw? And so what it was telling me was, even though thought I was being transparent, that's not what was baked into the site and really transparent. I didn't have an affiliate disclosure on every single article. I didn't see, so I don't know everything. And what's interesting is all the stuff that's ranking right now and that I'm making some money on is articles from before helpful content. I have some new articles that rank, but they do not bring in the money like the old stuff did. So my top 50 pages, 38 of it is articles I've refreshed that were published over 2.5, 3 years ago.
So you did refresh the old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Refresh,
I ha
added,
I
updated.
You remember there was one person in the old mastermind that had a forum, well, they put a forum on top of their blog after HCU. Remember that?
Right.
And
Yeah, I do.
that
Think of the
worked.
name.
That worked too. You put e-commerce on top of yours. I think that could have been something to help out a lot.
I did add over 300 products. So what I did is I really am into Instagram and the EDC photography, and not as good as like a Peter McKinnon or anything like that. Like I'm just still using my phone, but what are you going to do for e-commerce, right? So drop shipping, everyone does it. So I literally bought stuff on Amazon and I took the picture in a light box and I put it on there, and I put it on there more expensive. I actually didn't want to sell it. I just wanted to have items. So I had like a 50 items or 60 items, like watches and tools and stuff. And whatever the price was on Amazon, I upped the price like $10, $12 more. And I put the affiliate link. I'm like, make sure to check the price on Amazon. And the other thing I did is I sold my original pictures as artwork. So I have a huge gallery on there. We made our own AI artwork and then my own original pictures. And so at one point we had 500 SKUs in the e-commerce and a bulk of it. So I repurposed my articles into purchase. You could buy PDFs, downloads. We gave some free stuff away. And I mean, we sold a couple little things here and there, but I don't know if that was like a big thing that really helped it get back out there. And then just more link building, tons of link
Link
building and
building.
press release.
You did link building too.
Yeah. Yep. So I started going out and buying and building links to all the articles I could. So no one wants to send a link to a pocket knife review, but they will for flashlights and watches and pens and all their cool stuff, and Swiss Army knives they will. But then what I learned is if anyone watches Nothing But Knives, they're like the premier knife reviewer as far as like print. He went to Matt Diggity's mastermind in Chiang Mai, where like everyone's trying to figure this stuff out. And he found that the New York Times, yes, the New York Times, the Wirecutter, we are calling the Wirecutter out, shady people that they are, their SEO guys were doing negative SEO on other affiliate marketers. So if you went into SEMrush, you would go see that your images had 3, 4, 5,000 crazy links built to them. And so these guys found out if you were doing like mainstream reviews of like kitchen knives, which is like huge business, blenders, appliances, like the mainstream stuff, they were negative SEOing you. And so they started going back into the disavow file. And so I never disavowed links to my website. Who
Right.
just has the time for that? I did start disavowing stuff after this too. So ecom, disavowing, and building good links. I think if I was to narrow it down, those are the three big
Interesting.
things.
Ecom, disavowing links, and what was the third?
Building building your own links.
Building. I always
Yeah,
thought disavow links was like a red herring. It was like I would never do it because I didn't want to be perceived as an SEO. Like I always try to do things so natural that Google can never know like an SEO is working on this website type of thing.
right,
And I always thought the disavow stuff was just that because I have bad experiences with using the tool and then it gets even worse.
right.
But that's interesting to hear. You mentioned earlier about the affiliate websites that most people probably you can't start up a niche website and make good money anymore, right? Which I tend to agree with. But what other ways can somebody, a newbie in the space who's excited, make money?
Oh my goodness. Like, I mean, there really are there's so many ways. I'm focused on, as I said, the retail side of SEO. Like I want to sell web design projects, and SEO because I want monthly recurring revenue. The thing is, if you're a web designer and you build a website for 2,000, 10,000, that's great, but you got to go to another and go get another. But when you're doing monthly recurring revenue, where someone signs up with you and you work with them for 4 or 5 years, 3 years, like you can stabilize your income and your life. So that's what I'm interested in, and I think it's still wide open because as much as we all talk about AI, the average person, I had a strategy call yesterday with a big electrician who didn't even know what I was talking about in ChatGTP. They use no AI. He was only 58 years old, has 4 trucks, big electrical contracting company. The wife is the office manager, guy runs it, their son works for him. None of them had any idea. So when I was like, we're on a call like this, I was trying to show them what AI overview is. They're like, "Oh, that's AI. What do you mean?" Like they did. So for all of us to think like the AI bust and this and that, there are tons of people out there who need help from guys like us. There's tons of businesses, and if you just come in there and walk them through it, and I think AI voice agents like setting up answering services for people is huge. The one truck guy who's missing a call because he's on the ladder drilling something, that's really great. The database reactivation, helping people get more reviews, helping them get more calls, and then
What
build
is
your
that?
own website.
What is that one? Database reactivation?
Yeah, there's a lot of terms for it, reputation management, whatever. But
Mhm.
where you're coming into a company who's, so like, hey, export all your clients out of QuickBooks, give me their emails, and you start a newsletter for them. You start emailing them to get reviews. Because again, review velocity, reviews still drives your Google Maps listing right now. There's other things, but if you're a garage door guy in Denver, Colorado, and you have 12 reviews and all your competitors have 150, you're not showing up. I don't care how good you are,
Right.
right?
Unless
So helping
right.
them get more reviews. And I think for anyone watching this, the way you can really help people is the AI SEO. Now I know people are like, AI SEO is just good SEO, whatever you want to call it. The general public, they don't know that it's good SEO. They just know that they want to show up in AI. And if you can make that happen from wherever skills you have, that is helpful. The coolest thing to me is when a client of mine says, "Hey Blair, I, someone else just called and said they found me in Chat GTP." Like that is just the coolest feeling because we did that. Like, right? Like that's what we're doing for them. So if someone wanted to get into business, like, and SEO is easy. I know we're talking about a lot of high level stuff here and this and that, but like there, you can learn it. It's easy to deploy, and it's never been easier to do with all the AI tools. Like AI is not going to take away everyone's jobs. I'm really trying to get AI to automate my thought process of SEO. Like I don't want someone else's thought process. I don't want Chat GTP or Claude doing SEO for me. I want Claude doing my SEO, the things I've learned. So I literally this morning I wrote a 32-page prompt on how to optimize a website based on my roadmap so that my team, my employees, and my team in the Philippines can do what I do and I can take a vacation.
How many clients do you have right now on the SEO side?
A little over 100. Got about the goal is to break 150 by the end of next year or before.
Okay. And then of the clients, how many are like the garage niche that you started a year and a half ago?
We've got 38 garage door companies.
Pretty wild, man. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
big, fast ramp up. Wow. Okay. So agency is one way to make money for someone who's new in this space who wants to make money. Affiliate
Yep.
websites, niche websites are probably out. I wouldn't consider that unless you want to go social media, right? Facebook, Pinterest. Um, I do think the microsite strategy is something that's viable. We're building 50
Very.
more of those to rent out, and we have a rev deal, a 10% rev share deal on that. I'm only interested in like things that you can exit now.
Mhm.
Like okay, for instance, the garage doors, the niche. I imagine like if you build that to 100 clients and the processes are in place, you can sell that block of business,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Private equity is a big player in the agency niche. I actually didn't realize that. These guys are selling for huge, huge exits. They're building companies and selling them. Seven Figure Agency has a bunch of guys in there that had huge exits. They built up a niche site. And the key here is that business has to run without you. So that's the hard lesson I'm learning. Like every day I'm trying to be less involved, like that things run without me. I'm nowhere near that. It's very difficult, but that is the goal because you can't sell anything if it's all hinges on you.
What are the multiples these guys are getting?
3 to 10.
So if I have, say, 50,000 gross MRR, and it's 50% margins, 25,000, right? Which is typical for SEO, unless you scale it super high. How much is that business worth?
Oh, I mean, if you're like, well, one, you have to be, in my opinion, from what I hear from these guys, you've got to be at least 1 million to 2 million a year. They're not really buying. The only people who are buying smaller companies would like, I want to buy another company someday. I would love to buy a company with 40 accounts, right? I'm not there yet. That's a goal someday, way off. But if you want to sell your agency, you've got to be at a well over a million and a half a year, operating without you and a repeatable process because they come in and they pick apart everything. So they're really looking at how this is, and so they'll give you a 10x, a 7x multiplier on your net, and sometimes but then also like some of these guys have huge podcast audiences. They've got huge YouTube channels attached to their marketing company, and so that all comes with it. So then the value goes up, and then I'm my mind is blown when I go to these conferences. Like if anyone here is just like on YouTube and just kind of doing this stuff on your own, the real information is going to these events, going to these masterminds and seeing what other people are doing. It it blow your mind. Like you just don't even realize this is possible. Um, Brian Hong, I think if everyone's watching this video, he's a pretty big deal, very, very knowledgeable SEO guy. But I saw him give a presentation on revenue sharing, joint ventures, and it literally is like, wait a minute. So that guy that couldn't afford you to pay for SEO, you should actually, instead of taking money every month, you should take a percentage of the company. And it
Of the
should be
company?
30, 40%. Right.
Wow.
And then if you're going to put in all your time and your effort and you're like, wow, I never thought of that before. So it's so cool when you hear people saying that stuff.
I like it. Yeah, that's what interests me. So is your goal to build this thing up for an eventual exit?
Yes, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Or sell it to my kids or have an exit and do another one. That's why I want to do two of them. And so if any garage door clients are watching, I'm not going anyplace. But yeah, that would be the goal is somewhere down the road to build it up, and or really the other thing is to have like a more normal existence where I'm not working. I do work a lot. So we're joking about all this stuff. You're not doing this on a 40-hour work week, and you can definitely make money easy on the internet quick by doing, client work SEO. But it's hard. It's customer service. That's the number one thing. You've got to be available. You've got to talk to people. When that automatic payment goes through every month, like you got to let them know what you're doing and how things are going. And
It's a lot. As I get a little older and I think about agency work and everything else, other ways to make money online, agency is like probably the best and easiest way to ramp up to 10K, 20K.
yeah,
But it gets increasingly hard. There's more friction, and it's a big ask of an individual, an owner, a CEO like you, like I know how hard it is. Like these are fun things to talk about together right now, but there's times where you probably and I am pulling out my hair, right?
Yeah, like 5 minutes. I mean, yeah, definitely. You know, it's what's interesting. I do want to drop this tidbit because I think this has been the most like something to keep at the front of your mind all the time. Every single client, or I will say 95% of all the clients I have got in the last year, all were actively working with another SEO company. Very rare do I have someone who's never done SEO. I just had I got a guy yesterday, never done SEO. That's a rarity. They're always working with someone else and they feel abandoned and ignored and poor results. So keep that in mind. So we think like, oh, there's all these companies, and it doesn't matter if you go to their website and there's someone's name in the footer and they're doing SEO, they're probably not doing a good job. So just like I'm swooping in and looking at people, there's people looking at our clients. I mean, I lost a client the other day to one of my main competitors in garage door niche, and I was pretty irritated about it. And I didn't think it was fair. Maybe we didn't do a good enough job. I mean, so you have to ask yourself the honest questions. Like when we lose a client, typically it's our fault. Like when you're going to lose someone, when you're not doing a good job, even if you've tried. So your clients are never safe unless that's why you need check-ins and reporting. I never wanted to do that stuff before. Like I never wanted to have fancy reports or all this kind of stuff. But we're really trying to do more into like an experience. Like hey, you're sending them reminder gifts, you're sending birthday, you're so like when we onboard people now, like we want to know who answers the phone, who's in the office, how many trucks you have, when was the company founded, who's answering the phone on the weekends, during the day, does your wife, like we want to know about the company. You get them on a Zoom call and then you record it, and then the Zoom note taker makes this unbelievable ideal customer profile for your client, and your goal is to keep that client as long as possible.
You're all in on agency. I've seen you progress, man. It's been exciting to watch you, the parabolic growth. And I think you're just started, man. I think if you can figure out operations and pull yourself out of the business more and more, I mean, 200, 300 clients is going to be very attainable, especially you have the acquisition engine. That's the hardest part, I think. The hardest part is like getting the opportunity to sell a client.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, before we end the call, something cool that we could talk about is when you get a client, and this is something any local business can use, what do you do to boost the rankings? Like, what's the MO? What's typical?
Links and exposure. The I can't remember who said it. It's a couple guys say it. Success leaves clues. But the big thing is right now, and I think it's always have been, is telling Google and the search engines what you do, who you are, and where you do it. Right? Like I didn't invent that. Guys in my industry say it all the time, and that is key. And that is more key right now because that's what is showing up inside of the AI search results and Chat GTP. So right out of the gate, a really well done website optimized for conversions, like telling, you know, Google what you do and where you do it, but also telling the visitor, hey, I'm open 24 hours. Hey, I take credit cards. I take Venmo. I take PayPal. I work in all these different townships. Go to the about page. Hey, here's my technicians. Here's the employees. This is you're going to be on the phone with. This is who you're calling. Having a better website. And then when you do get a lead, answering it quickly. But as far as like SEO, and this applies to like any single website in the world, if you launch a new website or you're taking on an SEO client, it is press, it is backlinks, it is citations, and it's content on and off the website. You're blowing up LinkedIn, Medium, guest posts, as many places that you can get the brand mentioned, the service mentioned, the owner's name mentioned out there. That moves the needle.
A lot of off-page stuff.
Off page. Yep.
How much on-page stuff?
On page is a lot in the beginning, and then you move to where probably 70% of it's off page. Once you build someone's website and you have all their location pages, I know a couple guys are like blogging's dead. It's not dead. You just have to do it right, right? Like you still have to answer questions, answering all the PAAs. I mean, people also ask like doing that. This For anyone watching Splash Dash, there's that software out there, or any of these AI visibility checkers. Like you can run a prompt, a 50-60 prompt on your own business and see where you show up, where you don't. Well, every place you don't show up, you better have that answer on your website, and that I think where Claude and Chat GTP actually can really help you. It's not that these AI tools are doing automated SEO, but you're having more of a conversation with Claude. Like actually I was working on a new campaign today and I was like, hey, Claude, this is what I'm doing. These are people involved. Here's the website. Here's the top 10 competitors in the area. Here's their top 10 pages out of SEMrush. What do you think I should do? And they'll tell you, it's like, where did you get that information? Why are you telling me to do this? That doesn't make any sense to me. And Claude would be like, oh, you're right, Blair. That actually doesn't make any sense. Thanks for challenging me. And I'll say, hey, go, pretend you were Nathan Gotch and tell me what to do. Pretend you were Bradley Benner and tell me what to do. Pretend you were Neil Patel, and because the AI knows these people. And then you say, when it gives you an answer, can this be improved? Well, what if I didn't know about anything about SEO? How can I tell my team what to do? You give it these references and, they're long conversations, but you get a lot of info out of it. And at the end, you basically have like the 25-step quick launch for an SEO campaign that took an hour to do. And now you've got the roadmap.
Back to the idea, I think anyone can ramp up in a year and have a meaningful SEO agency that helps clients, that actually helps clients.
Yeah.
I like using GPT and Claude to be a pessimist. I say, tell me why this is a terrible idea, because I find it's like too amiable. It's too friendly. Like,
Right. Challenging.
yeah, got to
Yeah.
challenge it. Something.
One more thing with with the microsite. So what you and Sean are teaching, what's so awesome about that is the microsite model can be deployed in so many different ways. You can build a bunch for yourself, take the phone call, kind of like what Seth does, take the phone call, sell that phone call. You can build it up and get it ranking and then sell the site, rent the site. But remember, I think the key for a lot of people is you want to rent or have recurring revenue. And then the other thing it does, which what we also use it for, is taking search results away from the competitor. So if I have a client in a city, I'm building more sites. I'm building more websites for that service under different brands. And I'm taking search results from the other guys. I'm not going to let people have that real estate. And so one of our tactics, depending on how big the city is, we're building 2, 3, 4, 5 websites. We're buying expired domains and we're building them in there. Or we'll build big regional service, like a HVAC company that's regional, and we'll build multiple pages for other cities because you could rank that page in other people's cities, other cities. And that's key. And that's where the microsite really comes in. And what you guys are doing on Kirby, I still do it on WordPress. One day Sean will show me how to get it on Kirby by hand, but I'm still doing WordPress, and that it just works. The microsite's a great way to do it.
What's wild? I want your opinion. So on our builds, we never do blogs, right? We never do blogs. I'm kind of moving towards local businesses don't necessarily need blogs. Like I've seen it too
They
many
they don't
times on these microsites.
they don't need a blog in the traditional sense, but I'll give an example. I was working on a bounce house company website this morning, and I was asking Claude, and my knowledge of the bounce house industry, how many events are there in the world that I would want to rent a bounce house or water slide? And it started giving me like all these things. Well, it was basically a list of 100. Okay. So you're not going to build 100 pages for that you do bounce houses and water slides for every single event, right? Like, and how are you going to list them? Well, that's where a blog post comes in. So the blog post can actually be more of a sales page and rank for bounce house rentals for a bar mitzvah, bounce house rentals for a quinceañera. So like the article can be, hey, here's 10, 10 local 10 events that you may want to rent a bounce house for that you might not have thought of. Then you get the blog post and then you take the AI and you make the YouTube video and you make the short and you put it all out there. And so now you're not junking up the website with like all these extra pages, but you are having the word, you know, bounce house rental for HOA parties on your website. Like, so now you're getting it in there. So think of the garage door guys. Think of all the places you can put a commercial garage door. If you're, thinking the word, where the truck backs up, dock leveler. Okay, so dock levers are huge. If anyone's ever been in shipping or anything, the dock leveler is a steel plate that when the semi truck will back up, it goes down on top of it and it will adjust for the height of the semi trailer, down a foot, up 2 feet, so the forklift can go over. Huge business. Lots of businesses have a dock leveler. If your dock leveler is broken and you have a pizza dough factory, you're Googling dock lever for a pizza dough factory, right? Like, as a dumb example, but it works. Well, who's putting that on your website? But if you have an article on your website that talks about all the reasons where a dock leveler works, that makes sense. It's not spam. It adds value. You write it very well. You can use AI, but a good job. So your blog post can just be another place where to hang content out there.
Interesting. What would
FAQs,
you call those?
uh, you know, so
What would you call that page? I mean, it's a blog, obviously, but a blog can be a million things. Like what? So we have service pages, service location pages. What is that you just described? What could we call that?
I'm grouping them in because I like WordPress in the categories under either FAQs, depending on the page. So sometimes we are doing ton of FAQ pages, but they're nested on the regular page side, not necessarily in the menus, but we're going after all of the PAAs and going after all of the AI overviews. But in the blog, it could be company news, industry news, things you need to know, local news. And then whatever you're doing, have several things in there. I mean, I have a garage door guy right now, just a small campaign in St. Joseph, Montana, where we have two articles about like what to do in his city that rank on like in the top 15 search results all the time and brings in traffic. So is that article necessary? Probably not. But inside of that article, in the hyperlocal stuff, we're now mentioning points of interest. And if you were a business in XYZ city on this street, we could fix your garage door. You're linking to Google Maps. The article is like, hey, articles about your service area. Like you may live in a city and here's all the places we'll install a garage door, and you're linking out to the local link in Google Maps. I mean, I think some of that still works. Writing, you know, why you need to insulate your garage door is a total waste of time.
Because I don't want to rank nationally for a term, right?
Yeah. But, you may want to rank for, is a propane heater better than electric heater in my garage in South Carolina? I mean, that might be, which is actual search term.
You have to affix the location. Well, Blair, if someone wants to look you up, what are they going to do? Just Google your name?
You can go to, I really am pushing the garage door and gutter stuff. So garage door SEOexperts.com. You can find me there. Just Google my name, Blair Witkowski, SEO, and love to talk to anyone who needs some help.
And you're also in the community, always dropping nuggets on tools, which I really appreciate you being there. Anytime you're on the call, every time we do the call notes after, like the synopsis, it's like 20 tools. And I'm like, thank you, Blair. Awesome.
Oh, that's cool. And all that comes from like knowing other people. I certainly don't know all this stuff. Like it's just we are in such a great community of people that share. Like, so anyone watching, go to these conferences, go to SEO spring training, go to SEO at the beach. Like you have to go and get to know people in this industry. And 90% of them will tell you anything you want to know.
Well, thanks for taking time with me today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, thanks for watching to this point, and thank you, Blair, for taking time with me. This was a really spur of the moment call. If you want more of this, right, sort of candid conversation where we can be more open with each other and talk about real tactics, right, and go a little bit deeper than what we can talk about on YouTube, right, because some things you can't talk about publicly. That's just the nature of it. Come to the Rank Expand Academy, right? We have a weekly call, and we often talk about these type of things, and we go deeper and deeper and deeper, right? We talk about microsites, which is one of the concepts I am most excited about right now because you build a real asset that can change a business's life. It can change your life. It can become a sellable asset and all of these things. But I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe. And there's two other podcasts before this, one on high ticket ecom, right, with Jaden, and another one on microsites, RevShare with Seth. And I think you'll like both of those if you haven't checked them out. But I'll see you on the next one.